Hey everybody, the topic that we are going to talk about today is Introduction to Polity. Before we move to the topic of Introduction to Polity, I want to talk about one of the very famous quotes given by Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, who was the father of the Indian Constitution. He said, however good a constitution may be, if those who are implementing it are not good, it will prove to be bad. However bad a constitution may be, if those implementing it are good, it will prove to be good. So, why this quote becomes relevant here is because when you talk about the basics of polity or you talk about the introduction to polity, what we really discuss here is the intertwining of legislature with judiciary with executive. So, all these organs have to work very properly in order to uphold the sanctity of the constitution, and that is what this quote is actually talking about. So let's move to the most basic question: what is polity? Now, polity is actually the study of how a state is ruled, how a state is governed. It comprises of studying about the form of government in a country. We can't understand Indian polity without reading the Indian Constitution. So, we have to discuss that what is Indian Constitution all about. Now, Indian Constitution is a set of rules which decides how a country will be ruled. And to understand that why we read Indian Constitution, we have to take a holistic approach towards it. Like, it's not only for an exam per se, but as a general citizen, one should be aware of his or her constitution, because it is the supreme law of the land, that is India, and any other law is subordinate to the constitution. Plus, it literally governs everything which you see around. It is the most sacred book of law in India. We have a written constitution and it is a living document. So when we talk about Indian Constitution, we often say that Indian Constitution has been borrowed from different sources. That majorly it was borrowed from the Government of India Act 1935. Then the parliamentary democracy that we see in our country is from the British Constitution. Then we have a preamble, we have a fundamental rights from the US Constitution. Now, I am just giving you a brief introduction to these things. We are going to read about the sources, the salient features of the Constitution in the coming lectures. So, Indian Constitution is also what is important when we read polity is how the Indian Constitution was formed. The making of Indian Constitution becomes very important. I want to give a timeline here regarding different acts that were brought by the Britishers and which ultimately led to the formation of the Indian Constitution. Now we have Regulating Act of 1773, then Pitt's India Act of 1784, then several Charter Acts of 1793, 1813, 1833, 1853, then Indian Councils Act of 1861, 1892 and 1901. Then several Government of India Acts of 1858, 1919, 1935. Having discussed this, I also want to elaborate that the Constitution for government, it basically provides fundamental political principles. It establishes a structure, procedures, powers and duties. Basically, it provides a basic framework. It provides a skeleton over which you can function and in which the rules are filled by the bureaucracy. For citizen, it sets out fundamental rights, directive principles of state policies, and the duties of citizens. Indian Constitution is the longest written constitution of any sovereign country. It has 395 articles, 12 schedules, and 22 parts. Now, moving forward, I want to discuss the three basic pillars of a state, which is the legislature, then the executive, and then the judiciary. Now, this is we also have a three-tier system which was envisioned by the framers of the constitution, and which actually came to reality by the 73rd, by the enactment of 73rd Amendment Act and the 74th Amendment Act in the year 1992. We are going to talk about this in large details when we will talk about the Panchayati Raj system. But right now I'm just giving you a brief introduction here so that you understand that what this course is going to comprise, and we will go into the deeper details of everything that I'm just touching upon at this point. So having said that, I just want to briefly tell you that we have three uh, organs of the government. First is the legislature, then the executive, and then the judiciary. Legislature has been derived from the word legislate, which means to make law. Since we are a democracy, citizens can legislate through their representatives in the form of MP, MLA. Parliament has the right as well as the duty to legislate as and when needed. The same power exists with legislative assemblies at the state levels. Executives are basically the people who execute the law made by the parliament, and executives are basically policy makers who could be a minister and also your bureaucrats. They basically form the part of the executive. Now the third organ, which is actually the independent organ of the government, is your judiciary. Judiciary is comprised of people who protect the law, and the laws, it interprets the law. So this is the basic structure of the government that you can see here, and the responsibilities that they perform and they have on their shoulders. Then I would also like to discuss in very short detail that Parliament consists of Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha and the President. Member of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are called Member of Parliament. State legislature is the lawmaking body at the state level, which consists of state legislative assemblies and state legislative councils. But we do not have state legislative councils in all the states. It is basically present in 7 states, which I'm going to discuss later. What are those 7 states and everything about the state legislative council. Then the member of state legislative assembly is called MLA, and member of state legislative council are called MLCs. Then what we need to understand is that we have a bicameral system at the center as well as at the state in those 7 states where we have the state legislative assembly as well as the state legislative council. Bicameralism basically means that you have 2 states, you have 2 houses at the center and 2 houses at the state level. Then I have already talked about the 73rd Constitution Amendment Act and the basic structure of polity. The next lecture will comprise of the salient features of the Constitution and a brief history of the making of the Constitution. So that's what I'm going to talk about in the next lecture. Till then, take care and stay safe. Thank you.